Hey everyone, Brian Stott here. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. Really looking forward to covering a Fat Loss Friday episode for you guys today. So a couple things we're going to talk about, one of them primarily being hormones and hormone regulation and how that can impact positively or negatively fat loss within the body. So stay tuned, we'll talk about that. But really getting started, I wanted to talk a little bit about calories, because calories are important, but they're not always the end all be all, right? We always talk about like calories in, calories out. You know, as long as you're burning more than you're eating, you're typically going to be able to lose weight, lose fat. But there are some instances where that can be tripped up a little bit. And I'll be honest, I was someone in the past where it worked for me, so I just assumed it should work for everybody, right? Hey, you know, if you're in a deficit, you're going to lose weight. You know, if they didn't lose weight, I just assumed that maybe they weren't being 100% honest with what they were eating, or maybe they were measuring improperly. And while oftentimes that could be part of the case, there are some different things in regards to hormones that may need to be put in check first for you really to see those results. So here's a tip that I want to give you guys. Good, better, best. Do what's good until you can do what's better, and do what's better until you can do what's best. The plan that you're going to be able to stick with and follow and get results on is simply the plan you can actually strictly adhere to. So if that means starting off dipping a toe in the water, doing something that's maybe not a picturesque plan of fat loss, but is a little bit of a step in the right direction, do that until that becomes easy, and then you can continue to make things a little bit more difficult, a little bit more strict in regards to adherence, because you're going to build up those habits, you're going to build up those routines, and that's going to allow you to continue to get better. And for a lot of people, they might not have to be super regimented or strict or disciplined, depending on what their goal is. The more ambitious your goal, the more you're going to have to move towards that best scenario. But if somebody says, hey, I just want to be looking good, feeling good, I want to be healthy by my terms, I want to lose 15 pounds, maybe their doctor says I need to lose 30, I just want to lose 15, they might not have to go super crazy to get to that point. So that's one thing I want to tell you. Don't focus on trying to create the perfect plan or cut everything out or completely change your lifestyle. You can take step by step approaches to this. For me, when it comes to calories, like I said, I used to be able to just kind of cut certain foods out, and I was good. I could lose weight very easily. But there became to a point where I think things were just a little bit out of whack. And even when I was necessarily in a deficit of calories, I wasn't always losing weight. And I'm like, what's going on here? I've seen other people have these issues. Maybe this is something that could benefit them as well. So I'm actually going to switch my camera to show you guys some images and go through a couple different things as far as hormones. And I'll talk through a couple more bullet points possibly on, calories and really that good, better, best principle. All right, so let's talk a little bit about insulin. So insulin, as it relates to fat storage, insulin is the main fat storage hormone in the body. It tells the fat cells to store fat and prevents stored fat from being broken down. So it's basically like the ultimate enemy of fat loss in this particular instance, right? It's going to prevent stored fat from being broken down, and it's going to tell the body to store more fat. So as you can see here, when cells are insulin resistant, which is very common, both blood sugar and insulin levels go up significantly. So what are we talking about here? This is not just as it relates to someone who is a diabetic or is managing their diabetes. So here's a cool little image that I got from someone giving me a little shout out. So let's talk about low glycemic eating, right? Again, good, better, best scenario. This is going to relate to that as well. So why low glycemic impact eating? This is going to be in regards to leading a low glycemic impact lifestyle. It doesn't have to be complicated, right? Here's a quick guide on really how GI foods affect your metabolism and help you burn fat. So keep in mind what we just talked about insulin. So when we see the blood sugar levels at the 1 and 2, this is really your fat burning zone, ideal for weight loss. So if we look at the 1, 2, and the 7, a flat line is good in regards to this, right? We don't want huge peaks and valleys. Flat line when it comes to your heart rate, not a good thing. In this instance, it's actually ideal for fat loss. So at some point we have to eat, but really a focus on eating low and medium GI foods is going to keep you at more of an even state. When we eat high GI foods, right? Cakes, even things that maybe are quote unquote healthy, but in the wrong amounts at the wrong times without having protein and fiber during those meals or snacks, they can cause a huge spike. It doesn't just have to be cake. It could be orange juice. It could be, your morning cereal. It could be a morning muffin, right? Basically, maybe you just ate a bunch of rice with a little bit of vegetables, but there wasn't enough fiber. Maybe it wasn't brown rice. There's a whole slew of different things that now we're going to get a boost of energy. Our sugar's going to spike. And if we're not insulin resistant, obviously, what's going to happen then is your body's going to release insulin. And then now we're going to see a sapping of your energy where we're going to get that valley going down to the number 5. This is going to be where people, maybe they have a coffee in the morning, put a lot of sugar in it. They have their sugary, muffin for breakfast. They get that boost of energy, and then by lunchtime, they're crashing hard. They go get another coffee. They eat their, maybe carb-filled lunch. They get another peak and another valley. And they're basically always in this state of boost and then sapping, boost and then sapping. And they're also releasing insulin, which is telling their body throughout the day, each time they eat these meals, these snacks, don't burn fat and store more fat. Don't burn fat, store more fat. So we're just doing this up, down, up, down, up, down, and it's causing us to put on more and more fat or retain the fat that we already have. So a balanced diet of low and medium GI foods gets you back on track. So that's insulin. Now let's talk a little bit about ghrelin and leptin. I'll try to just read off of this so I'm not going on a rant. Hormones impact your metabolism and weight no matter your age, gender, or race. Specifically, there are three main hormones: leptin, ghrelin, and cortisol, and two hormone-secreting glands, the thyroid and the adrenal glands, that play major roles in weight management. When you're hungry, ghrelin is released, telling the body you are hungry and need food. Until you satisfy your body's need for nutrients, ghrelin levels will remain high, so you remain hungry. When you start eating, your body's fat cells release leptin, which tell your brain that you are satisfied. Research suggests that people who are overweight have high levels of leptin, which causes them to be leptin resistant. People with leptin resistance have high levels of circulating leptin, causing them to not feel full when they should. People with a body fat percentage higher than normal and people who do not get adequate sleep are also at risk for leptin resistance. When you lose weight, you will become more sensitive to leptin and actually stop eating when you are full. So what can lead to leptin resistance? Poor eating habits, lack of sleep, chronic stress, and nutrient deficiencies. All things that we can work on nutritionally as well as just through lifestyle factors. Next, cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone released when you're stressed. There are many different types of stress that you can experience. Emotional stress, right? Relative to the person experiencing it. Physical stress, such as being overweight, chronic inflammation, lack of sleep, reduced hydration, even just being sick, right? Or having a really hard workout. It's good stress in a sense, but all this stress is going to add up. Your body doesn't know the difference between mental stress, physical stress, emotional stress. All these things are going to have a big effect of adding together, and we're going to need to try and work on balancing those. In addition to chemical stresses, right? Medications we're taking, environmental toxins. So elevated cortisol levels may lead to visceral or abdominal fat, where if you know anybody that has a beer belly, right, it's not like a floppy fat, it's a hard fat. That means the fat is actually inside of the abdominal wall. It's around the organs, and more fat in this area has shown really, really detrimental effects to health through aging. I know a lot of us have the subcutaneous fat. It maybe doesn't look as good. Maybe we wish it was on the inside, and it just looked like a little bit of a beer belly, but actually that beer belly is much, much more unhealthy. So back on the line. Difficulty sleeping, weakened muscles and bones, suppressed immune system, elevated blood pressure, and reduced thyroid function. So let's talk about thyroid and adrenal function. Your thyroid and adrenal glands are imperative to metabolism. Any imbalance to the hormones can lead to metabolic changes. Having reduced thyroid function or adrenal fatigue may cause weight gain, sluggish metabolism, dry skin, low energy levels, poor sleep, joint discomfort, and mood fluctuations. So having an imbalance to any of your hormones stresses your body further. If there is an issue, there may be times you are eating healthfully and exercising, yet you are not seeing results. The triad approach for improving metabolism. So guys, this is where, I'm going to wrap things up here. If you have any questions, concerns, you want some resources, you want some tips, reach out. I'd be happy to give those to you. We're going to close off with this. So how can you rev up your metabolism and become leptin sensitive? The best way is to increase your body's need for energy and provide nutritional support. This allows your body to work optimally. To do this, use the triad approach to repair, maintain, and boost your metabolism. Number 1, eat a healthy, low glycemic impact diet and avoid alcohol for at least 21 days. Again, I'm going to say on here, good, better, best. Number 2, exercise, including cardiovascular, strength training, and flexibility. Again, good, better, best. Something is better than nothing. Number 3, supplement to provide nutrition, balance, and support. We don't want to be deficient in certain things, and there are certain things as far as vitamins, minerals, herbs, different things that can help with regulating some of this, issues with hormones, with insulin. So definitely reach out if you have any questions. I hope this was informative. Take care. Talk soon.